Hello everyone, today is Friday, October 11th. Thank you for tuning in and watching this update on my What Would Jesus Do border mission trip. Last night I spent the evening at a Walmart in Liberal, Kansas. Liberal, Kansas, I guess, is the home of Dorothy. Not Dorothy from church, but Dorothy, the one from The Wizard of Oz. So I guess her house that she lived in must be not too far from here. Anyway, during my last video update, I said I would go into a little bit more detail on what this border mission trip has meant to me. One of the big things I did, or one of the things I did quite often, was to go out with Alvaro and Alicia. Alicia helps Alvaro on planting crosses by helping to navigate and to look up details about the immigrants that have passed away in the desert. You've seen the video. You've seen quite a few pictures of Alvaro's crosses. If not, look through the album "What Would Jesus Do Border Mission Trip," and you'll see those crosses. But today I want to go over a couple of things with some of the volunteers, and Alicia with an A, and also Alicia with an E. But first I want to show you a necklace, and hopefully you can see this necklace. This necklace here is made by Alicia with an E, and in it is a little red dot, and I'll explain that in a moment. But first I want to look at this back part, which is kind of a piece of rusty tin, and the rusty tin is from the cans that we find when we're out on the immigrant trail. We find the little tin cans of food, and so Alicia takes these and she stamps them out to put on the cross. But the red dot here represents where on a map they found the remains of a migrant or a refugee that's died in the desert. And there's a project that's being done by the Humane Borders where they track those, and some are identified and some are unidentified. Actually, quite a lot are unidentified. But Alicia with an A, she started a program called Take Up a Cross, and she makes these beautiful crosses out of ceramic in her class. Each cross is unique because each cross represents an individual that has passed away in the desert, and particularly these are the unidentified individuals. In the center again is a red dot. You can't really see it, but there's a number. That number represents that person's identification. That's I guess in Pima County, but also you can find that number on Humane Borders. So this represents a person that has passed away. And in it is also a card here with the details. So this particular one was a male. He was unidentified. It gives his ID number, and date of death was in 2018. And it does have down here the red dot, as you can see, which is for that red dot project, as well as Tape Up Across, a humanitarian project by Alicia. So I want to read what Alicia has written. This is also on the back of that cardboard, but this is on a piece of paper. So I'll read to you what this says, and maybe I can take a photo and attach it as well. Take Up a Cross. Since 2001, there have been more than 3,000 migrant deaths in Pima County area of southern Arizona, an area of deadly heat, venomous reptiles, and rough desert terrain. Of these 3,000 immigrants or migrants, more than 1/3 remain unidentified. This cross is made specifically for the migrants whose ID number is stamped on it, a migrant who is yet to be identified, a migrant whose family is holding out hope that their loved one will return home safely. It is the hope and prayer. It is the hope and prayer that through DNA testing and other means, this immigrant's family will know the truth about his or her existence. To check the progress of this migrant's identification status, you can visit humaneborders.org. With this cross, I hope that you will be able to share the stories about where, why, and how migrants die frequently in the desert of southern Arizona. People who were searching for a better life. Perhaps your church, parish, social club, or other organization will be willing to take up a cross as a group and pray for this person's family, making it a prayer of comfort and peace and answers. At the same time, please remember that many others who are in the desert right now are struggling to stay alive. Pray for these poor people who are caught in the middle of a terrible situation. Pray for a speedy decision on policies, because people are suffering and dying while we are trying to figure it out. Pray for each other, and pray that we may resolve this with love instead of division. Pray for humanitarian aid workers who keep these people alive in the desert. And then there's a list of organizations. So when Alicia gave this to me, she specifically said she knew I was going to be praying for them. She did give me a few more, which I will be handing out to select individuals that I know will be praying for the families. Alicia, if you're listening, thank you very much. It's really touched me. So when we talk about what Jesus would do, I did mention, or I did write, that when I look in the scriptures, I find it in the Gospels. And it's my firm belief that Jesus would be out in that desert searching for these individuals. Hopefully, if they're alive, giving them water. But if they passed away, he'd be praying for their souls and welcoming them into heaven to be beside him. So that's all for today. Sorry, I'm a little bit emotional. This still gets to me. I've also included a few photos of my journey today, my drive through New Mexico, up and through the Texas Panhandle, through the Oklahoma Panhandle, and now into Kansas. I'll be continuing my journey on tomorrow up to Omaha. Anyway, until my next update, this is Chuck, and I wish you peace.